Good dawn day of dust to you. I'm Danny Page. This is my pal FullMetalHagrid. You'll soon find him online. And today's quite a special day because we've both been fans of Final Fantasy VII for quite a long time. Rob has completed the game.
Twice.
And platinumed it, I believe.
Yeah, I have.
I've only completed it the once when it originally came out. I took a week off and I hardcore played the game and enjoyed every second of it, and then decided to leave hard mode for a little bit later. And Rob is currently joining me as my co-pilot, and he's going to help me out through the hard mode.
I would describe myself as his spiritual advisor. Okay, I'm going to tell him when to fucking do shit.
Yeah, if I need anything, Rob will be there to help me out, but I will try and figure some stuff out for myself. Okay, so let's begin.
Where's it going to start you?
I have no idea. Because it's not just going to start me off on a chapter select screen, so...
No, it's... Oh, it does.
Oh, nice.
Alright.
You should know this, you completed the game.
Yeah, I completed it twice within the first, week, 2 weeks of it being out.
What did you think the first time you saw the opening?
It was awesome if it wasn't for the fact that I already watched it in a trailer about 2 months before the game came out. Because I had the issue of just spoiling everything for myself.
But you didn't check out any of the leaks when they were, obviously I think you saw one or two things crop up, was it Red 13 when that came out?
Yeah, I saw the odd images of War Market before it was properly rendered and stuff like that.
See, this is the thing that annoys me of why it wasn't a full open world fucking Grand Theft Final Fantasy, because you see the city, you see how fucking magnificent it looks, and you're like, oh, I wish I could travel there and then travel there, and I'll do a side mission over here, and it's... Yeah, I am probably in the minority, but I would have rathered it not been so linear, even if the original was quite linear.
I can get where you're coming from. I think for me, I was fine with the linearity. It was just the fact that the one new location in the game we did get was just a block of houses, and it was still quite vastly empty with the Jesse chapter.
Yeah.
And there was you could have had a city street sort of thing. Don't get me wrong, chapter 2, when you get the street which you'll come up to, it looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a little...
I understand for pacing's sake they want to keep it moving, but it just, especially when you're getting chapter stuff and it's oh, here's the side missions, you can do them all now or you don't do them. There's no coming back and doing them later.
Yeah, I think I accept it for what we got because I still really like it. I think the thing that annoys me more is the players that sort of decided they were complaining. It's oh my god, this is so linear compared to 7. And it's no, actually 7 is ridiculously linear up until the mid-end point of this 2.
Yeah, but it's they was oh yeah, we want to make it different, we want to do something different from the original. Okay, well, if the original was linear, how about you make the original vastly open world to begin with? And the fact that they was oh, it's just going to be Midgar. So it kind of implied that maybe, if you're just doing Midgar, then open up the whole of Midgar. I want to see every sector. I want to see sector 1 through 8 on the top plate. I want to see sector 1 through 8 on the on the slums.
No, I completely get you. It's something we hope we can look forward to the next one. There is so much they could have done with this, but at the end of the day, what we got, for me, is still quite satisfactory. Although...
But it's when you see a big open shot like that and you're oh, look how much there is, and what we actually see is probably no bigger than one
of them, one of the sectors, pretty much.
Yeah.
And I suppose that they could have, for the amount of filler in a couple of chapters, namely I think chapter 5 and 6, and some of Shinra building later, they could have removed a chapter out and just gone, here's another location. It's not that long, but
That's the thing, you could have had Cloud get on his bike, he could have gone from one sector to another, like, easy traversal.
Or they could have even incorporated the fact that they make you look at, like, the railroad map and just gone, that's your fast travel thing.
Yeah,
sectors points.
Just go sector to sector. But, enough complaints. Here comes.
Menu time.
Oh, are we still going to get all the menus even though it's on hard mode, or are they going to assume that, oh, you've played the game, you don't need the tutorial?
I don't think you don't get the tutorials anymore, I don't think. But what I mean by that is you're going to be wanting to do loadouts in a moment. Because you've got to bear in mind it's hard mode, so you now got all your main weapons from your previous playthrough. You keep all of that stuff and your materia.
Get down here, Merc.
Oh, yeah, because yeah, I was about to say I forgot what weapon I was using last.
Twin Stinger, I think is his name, right?
Well, that one's the Mithril one, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the weapon I used pretty much for most of the game was the Twin Stinger.
Well, that's the one you get towards the end, right?
Yeah.
Not the upgrade. Okay.
Remove everything. Go through your material list and see what you would recommend for yourself.
Oh, it's been so long, man. Well, obviously that's got the most... Oh, and Counterstance. Counterstance was so broken, but...
Yeah. Oh, you'll be using that a lot. The reason why I'd recommend Twin Stinger is just because you get a little bit more MP. And for those that don't know, the rules of hard mode is basically you do not get any opportunity to recharge MP from chapter to chapter anymore before the end of the chapter, and you can't use items anymore. So it is all based on loadouts. And one of the things I've noticed a lot of people using in these playthroughs is the healing materia, the yellow healing materia, and chakra.
Is there any point raising up the other ones, or should I just stick with my max levels?
I would have. You've got 2 elemental materia at the point of the game, haven't you?
Yeah.
You want 2 of every element.
Okay, well, I think that's a pretty good loadout. I'm probably going to one-shot the first bunch of people and then just be like, why did I even bother?
Oh, trust me, it becomes useful.
Who goes there? You're
To be fair, I would kind of hoped that
You're coming with us. Nice and easy.
Don't think
Okay.
see ya. Not bad.
So... Wait. Is he... Oh, he's not dead.
That's that.
Okay. Hard mode is hard. Oh, and the boxes aren't here like they were before. So, is there less boxes around in the game? Like, less chances to get your MP back?
I think so, yeah. Right, the audio for the microphone was going a little bit lower.
Okay.
This is a tester, so I'm just testing the audio again.
Yeah, is it all good? Does it sound good?
There's a bit of crackle feedback actually, but okay, that's better.
Oh, okay, brilliant. Oh,
Just got to speak a little bit louder.
okay. See, I'm very apprehensive to use any of my spells because I'm just like, well, if I'm not going to get MP back.
Yeah,
You were unable to obtain. Oh, so is there really any point?
nope. You've already got all the materia and everything in the first playthrough. There is absolutely no point in doing this again.
Okay. Because I was just like, oh yeah, I got the oh yeah, I can't get the potions.
The only thing that's worthwhile is spamming crates for MP shards. Because they do respawn as well. Because I had got to a point in side quests in like chapter 8 or 9. I think it was chapter 9. And I wound up having to just run around the like outside of sector 6 or 5.
We're just collecting boxes.
Yeah, because I had a mini boss.
So, how do you think they've done with the side characters?
Probably better than I could have possibly hoped.
To be honest, when I started, I couldn't hear anything other than Badger from Breaking Bad.
I never really got into Breaking Bad, so I didn't have that like.
But by the time I got to halfway through the game, I think maybe like a little bit further, and I was just like, "No, that's Wedge." Like,
Yeah. The problem for me was I had no issue with the characters at all, and then someone revealed to me that Biggs was voiced by Balthier in Final Fantasy 12. And then after that, I was a little bit like, "Oh god damn it!"
I can't hear it. Can't unhear it now. I think it's the fact that like through playing this, I've heard him as Wedge more than I've seen Badger in
Breaking Bad.
So,
Yeah, it's just screen time alone. So
Yeah.
I was like,
so it's now overtaken it.
I'll be honest, the voice cast for the characters, like, we've already had discussions about this on our own time, but like, after playing this game, Advent Children's voice cast has kind of become trash to me.
I wouldn't necessarily say trash because I think
The voice actors themselves are good, but like for half of them, the voice direction is terrible, and things like that. Like, I don't hate Steve Burton as Cloud,
yeah, no,
but Advent Children Cloud can like kind of do one. I don't.
oh yeah, I see what you're saying because yeah, me personally, I understood it. I suppose maybe in that time frame I was feeling very much like like that sort of Cloud, and I empathise with him.
You're an emo.
I understood. Like I felt the same way he did. Like I lost Aerith just like he did, and yeah, if that happened to me in real life, I would be just as miserable.
Yeah, but the thing is though, is like they lost Aerith halfway into the story, and he'd gone through the revelations of who he was and stuff like that. By the way, spoilers for the actual original game.
Yeah, but if you're watching this and you don't know the spoilers for a 23-year-old game, what are you doing with your life? I think I knew the spoiler before it occurred, and on top of that, I think, like, not proud to say, but the only way I initially played this game was one of my parents happened to have a pirate version of Final Fantasy, and at the time, all I saw was a couple of blank discs that said FFVII, and I didn't know what the hell that meant. I put it into the console, and I got this thing that looks like Lego blocks, and I didn't think that I'd be into it, but I played like the first little section. I killed the first guard, and I think the battle system got me immediately. And
Because 7 was your first, wasn't it?
yeah, I lost my Final Fantasy virginity to 7, and like they say.
You always remember your first.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's... Oh, Jesus.
Yep, they do a lot more damage, I should have pointed out.
Yeah. Okay, I'm good.
But bear in mind, you do have Steadfast Block on now, which has a very good bonus to it. It builds your ATB meter up faster when blocking. that's why you always put it onto your partners as well. So basically, even when you're not controlling, they're gaining ATB through block.
Yeah.
Because there's the one thing I'll give this game. While the AI never does moves when you want them to, or hardly ever attacks, they block often enough.
Yeah, almost too often sometimes. Like, even when the enemy's not doing anything, they just stand there like, I'm blocking, I'm blocking. But...
Stag, it's a Tifa, punch the crap out of them. No, I'm turtling.
Okay. I'm coming to get you. See, but if I, I'd be doing the same thing. If I was the security officer, I would be backing away. Because if some guy is walking at you while you've got a gun and all they have is a sword, you're going to be scared that they're a bit too confident.
You'd be like, what the hell have you got up your sleeve?
Yeah, exactly. Are you impervious to bullets?
I do feel like that. The one stupid thing about that sword though is it doesn't have a sheath. Like, I know he's meant to be like a soldier and everything, but like, how big that sword is, he's going to turn inadvertently and chop some kid's head off.
I can think of a few kids that I wouldn't mind if you chopped their head off in this game, but...
Chadley?
Chadley was okay. He was a nice addition.
Or the little girl with the kittens?
Well, if anything, I'd probably chop... Oh, no, I don't want to say... I was going to say I'd chop the kitten's heads off. But either way, whether I chop the girl's head off so I don't have to do the mission, or I chop the kitten's head off so I don't have to finish the mission, I still come across as a sociopath.
Yeah. The side quests in this game were a bit long and tedious.
Well, it's not even the fact that they were long, it was just tedious, yes. Like, they could be short and tedious, but like...
I think it was more the fact that the side quests were just like, really go over the same location you've just done.
Yeah, no, fetch quest.
Do it twice.
Like, the best thing about the side quests that I think I found in the whole game was Cloud's interaction with the kids, and I think it was the one with the hedgehog pie or the hedgehog king, something like that. And yeah, essentially he was like, oh, I don't work for free, and then the kids are all like, oh, but we need help. And he's like, oh, well, it just so happens that today I'm doing a deal on hedgehog pies, so I'll just do it for like free, or I'll do it for like free gil or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, like, it shows that Cloud's not a complete arsehole. He is willing to like open himself up, even if like the job is a little tedious.
Yeah, but then he has a go at a in the same chapter. He has a go at a grieving husband for wanting to go to a graveyard filled with monsters, sort of thing. Although I think the mentality behind that is to like keep him safe.
Yeah, like cruel to be kind, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I was going to say, nothing in these boxes. I'm never going to get like MP or anything like that out of
Nope.
Okay. So I should just...
It's one thing that speeds up the playthrough. You don't... Like, that's the thing. You can sell the crap now. You can sell all your crap. But there's no reason to sell because there's nothing worth buying.
Apart from like additional material or something like that.
Yeah.
This was nice to see. Although I do feel like one thing I will say about this as an opening to like Final Fantasy VII Remake, the whole game is kind of essentially like the greatest hits of everything that happened in the original game.
Yeah.
It's sort of like, I think I mentioned to you before, it's like they blew their load a little bit early, and it's like all the key points of stuff that you saw in the original game they've put in this one, so essentially it feels like the next game that comes out, they're not going to have to worry about doing all those key points.
They can now start going off in their own direction, and because they've given us a lot of the highlights, it's like...
we don't need to see them again, sort of thing.
Yeah, I can get behind that. I think it was also because they weren't sure, like, it's hedging your bets. It's like, look, we got to give people something that they're not going to get normally in this point of the game, because A, it's a Final Fantasy game, we want to be a full game, you need summons. And also they don't know how it's successful or whether the next one will be made.
Yeah, because like if this flopped and they didn't have the opportunity to show off all the things that they wanted to show off, then. But like Preacher Barrett going off. I love the look on Cloud's face. It's so sort of like.
Can't be bothered to care. Go away.
But it's his face is the visual representation of his like catchphrase of not interesting.
Right, that was his Advent Children catchphrase.
No, there was him in this as well.
Oh yeah, he does say.
He said it with Wedge, like, oh, you know what? I think not interested.
Yeah, I can get. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Badass boss Cloud.
Yeah, badass Cloud. Shut up, Barrett. If it weren't for you, you wouldn't even have that gun. Or it weren't for me, so.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet there is, Jesse.
And if you've got the Twin Stinger equipped as well, there's a nice little bend.
No. Some call it the Twin Stinger, I call it the Double Penetrator. See, I do wonder with them, because it's like, okay, they look like cameras, but they also fire from the same place that they appear to shoot from. So... Oh, I've only got, like, defensive stuff on Barrett.
We'll have to go into the menu to sort him out in a minute. Just maximum fury the bastard, and then...
I don't even need to, but... Oh, what a waste of maximum fury.
No, but then you can do is... I'll use this charge up for first.
Ah, I blocked it, it's cool. I would have liked it if they was able to switch the gameplay up in a sense that... Oh, have I got... Do I have auto cure on?
Oh, he must do. I personally remove that. It's some kind of wasted material. Because it only does cure.
So I've still got him with Big Bertha.
But bear in mind, your light machine gun, look at the SP it's got to chuck into it.
Let's check it out. This is one thing that they could have shortened down a little bit, but...
Yeah, it reminds me of 13's like Crystarium, where it was just like, look at this shiny effects because you pressed the X button. Like, no, God. If you had to, just give me a bloody spreadsheet which I can edit.
My healing tank?
Yeah.
Because I normally had Barrett with Provoke and then also like the auto cure. So yeah, the moment that someone would like be in great peril is like Provoke, auto cure that person, and then you can carry on going.
Oh, to be fair, I wound up having him as buff boy. Like, so he'd be the one that normally casted haste and mana wall. Because I think when I did this, my loadouts were generally everyone would have at least 1 HP up. Some characters had 2. And everyone had like an MP boost, MP ups, apart from Aerith who had like a bunch of magic ups chucked in as well.
Yeah.
So like by the time we got to like a chapter, Aerith had over 200 MP and did like ridiculous magic damage bonuses.
One of the things I was a little bit disappointed about was how you couldn't just bring up everyone's materia and just take a whole section and reslot it to the other person like you could in the original game.
Now, I would actually put the steadfast block on Barrett now if you plan on controlling Cloud more often.
That's the thing, like they could have done so many things in this game to essentially make it a little bit better. Like, if I could go through, if it said like command material, this material, that material, you could go into each section rather than have to scroll through the whole thing to find what you're looking for.
There's a lot of quality of life changes they could have made, and hopefully they will introduce them later on.
Like, I'm wondering how much was sort of like carried over from like CyberConnect, like when they did their...
The combat system, I feel, is to some degree. Because you look at the gameplay footage from E3, and it's very much still intact.
Yeah, it's very similar. Although, for some reason, in that gameplay footage, you had Cloud fighting in the fountain area. He was fighting all the guards, but he was also fighting with Barrett. I'm pretty sure in that.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, and obviously Barrett wouldn't be with you in that section of the game.
Might have been like a test.
Oh, it's just a test arena. So yeah, lightning, elemental, revival, MP up, HP up, provoke, steadfast block, healing.
I would get rid of the provoke.
I'm gonna keep it for now. We'll just
okay. And switch back to Cloud because you've now lost a couple of materia. Once you get to the Scorpion, you're going to want to replace the fire with thunder.
Yeah. Okay, Barrett. Let's go.
Because that's the one nice thing about this area is basically enemies are either weak to fire or lightning, and most of the enemies you fight in this section are human.
Yeah, you know it. Oh, Cloud, always the badass. Well, I know I don't have the right ability for it, but
Focus strike. Oh, you used the
yeah, man.
Oh, I was just paused.
To be honest, I kind of forgot what some of the commands were that I used to use, because I always had L1 triangle always be like my focus for whatever character I was using. Like,
yeah.
So then, whatever character I was swapping to, it'd be like, okay, L1 triangle. That's always going to be my focus thing to raise up the stagger bow.
That's better. I would cure Cloud, by the way.
I don't know why. What is the point of having that?
That's just a purposeful hard mode. But I know people do use the prayer or chakra thing for health, but I just feel there's too much risk. I'm more like power through, like force up my MP as much as possible and then just force heal my way through it. Like, the unfortunate thing, because the way I set up my playthrough, it really doesn't give you a lot of room to have extra magic material equipped. You find you basically just have to go. You're switching your magic material out fight by fight.
Yeah, that's why I think it would have been good if they included some like presets, or just so you could be like, okay, this is going to be like my attacking build, this is going to be my defensive build, my healing build.
Yeah, basically you can have a build based on what party members you have at the time. Because like your builds, like unless Aerith's in your team, you constantly change who your magic user is. for me, it was always pretty much Cloud became my magic user.
Yeah, exactly. Wow.
Tifa's always brawler, and Barrett was like the balancer between. But as soon as Aerith's in the party, it's like, oh no.
Everyone, stop what you're doing. Give all your materia to Aerith. She's gonna take care of things. As I think, like I said before, is like one of the best things, or one of the things that I liked the most about this game is the fact that this game has made Aerith the mainstream norm for what to call her. Like, obviously, I've played Final Fantasy VII in the past, like on like the PS1, the PS like 3 and 4.
Was Aerith the US name as well, or was
it was meant to be the name, and I don't know whether it was some glitchery that I'd seen, but I was watching. I think it was a Games Done Quick. I'm not sure which one it was, whether it was Summer or the other one, but they did a skip, or it might not have even been then. They did a skip of, I think it was the Wall Market skip, and then when you arrive in the next area, you're with Aerith, but you've gone past the point in which you name her, and her name was already Aerith. So apparently, the problem was that when it came to the naming section, they put the wrong name there.
Oh.
So essentially, in the game, it was already set as Aerith, but when it comes to the naming bit, it came up as Aeris.
Oh, fair enough.
But I admit, when I was a child, I used to pronounce it as Aries until I got a bit older. But,
Yes.
But this game came out when I was like 6 or 7, so.
Yeah, to be fair though, I played this game later because Final Fantasy X's my first one, and it's probably my favourite. But 7, I'm trying to think, was 7 the one I went to after? I think it was, because I remember my brother had all the copies. He had 7, 8 and 9. No, he just had 7 and 8 because he didn't like 9. Same as me really. I'm not a massive fan of 9 personally. It's not a bad game, but I by that point I'd already veered more into sci-fi over fantasy.
Yeah,
So like,
that's the whole reason. Well, like not necessarily sci-fi over fantasy, but when it comes to fantasy games, I prefer like Final Fantasy to medieval fantasy. Like
yeah,
when it comes to Skyrim and things like that, I'm not a massive fan. Lord of the Rings is the one exception that I've found, but like when it comes to things like Skyrim or Game of Thrones, all that sort of stuff, like like castles and dragons and that sort of thing, it doesn't really give me the same sort of interest that a Final Fantasy game does.
yeah. But for me, like I've always been into my sci-fi, so it's always veered towards like, give me laser blasters, give me a cool contemporary future setting that sort of parallels the modern day and like gives us a twisted version of what will happen.
That just sounds like Star Trek with extra steps. Yeah, that was
That's no optimism.
Yeah, that essentially was what Star Trek was. Like, oh, what's the current climate problem? Oh, racism. Okay, we're gonna have some characters that are half black and half white.
Yeah. Or what's the another problems? Oh, servitude and things like that. Well, we've got androids that have no free will. Sweet.
What did you think of the over-inclusion, or I shouldn't say over-inclusion, but like, what did you think of the inclusion of Sephiroth in the early sections of this? Oh, it's nice to see that you only get a 20-minute timer on hard mode.
Yep.
Okay, but yeah, your interpretation, or?
I liked the additions of Sephiroth earlier because I felt like it was necessary, because new gamers who never played the game knew who Sephiroth was. And the way the beats of the story do play out, he is the main antagonist of this first game. Personally, like, I could have removed him entirely and had like some of the hints of him, but had like Rufus be the main enemy, I guess. But
yeah, that's kind of what I was expecting. I thought they would have him be more of a main antagonist.
have him involved more in the game with the Turks would have been quite a nice little change. But what they did with him, and like the scenes that Sephiroth's in, he's intimidating, evil as hell.
Yeah, no, I think Sephiroth, he didn't have to be the main guy for this one. I didn't change Cloud's.
Oh, his elemental weapon, shit.
Yeah. Do you think it's worth opting out?
Nah, just keep going.
I'll give it. Okay, well at least that still worked. Okay, I'm just gonna stagger him. Maximum Fury during the stagger.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember now. Right. Cutscene triggers.
Health gates. It's what we all love. Okay, thank you.
Oh, I just switched about now.
That wasn't in the first one, was it?
Yeah, but he's got new moves now.
Jesus.
I think you can summon Fat Chocobo now.
Oh, I can. I thought it was just not available in this arena.
Yeah. Fat Chocobo is actually surprisingly overpowered. Right.
I really did. I enjoyed the use of it, but I didn't quite. I don't know. I liked it a little bit more in the original.
Heal!
Come on, Fat Chocobo, are you going to take that? Probably should have got to a safe area.
You got a rise or just rise?
Just rise. Huh. Okay, well done, Fat Chocobo. Come on, Chocobo, do something. I don't like the look of the
Moogles.
The Moogles, yeah, the Moogles look ugly compared to the original.
Yeah. They look like a teddy bear that's just been put through the washing machine once so many times.
Yeah, or like some ugly koala.
Yeah. That is the aesthetic they've gone for, more of a koala in this one, haven't they?
I was going to say, it's blocking its weak spot against the wall. Like, it's not playing fair, Rob. There we go.
Crowd focus strike.
Damn you. This is a lot harder than it was before.
Yep. Can you imagine if you didn't put any of the HP ups on?
Yeah, I wouldn't be here right now. Okay, got out just in time.
Yeah, I don't dodge that, I just block.
Yeah, it'd be nice if your dodge roll had a bit more of a distance. Would it be better to let Barrett use his focus or maximum fury than electricity?
Yeah, I'd go with that. The health bar's nearly low enough. It's about to go into the next phase.
No. Abilities. Pressure. Okay, well that's a bit better than nothing, I suppose. And next phase.
Once you do know what the phases are, the fights do get a little bit easier.
Yeah, I suppose at least you know, I'm not wasting this attack.
Yeah, because when you first play through, it'll be like, let me break. No! Right.
He does more than one, doesn't he? I think I remember you saying.
Yeah. I wasn't going to say, I was going to wait for you to scream.
No, I remember what you said last. Oh, damn, I didn't even make it. Oh, Barrett doesn't even have anything to use.
Let me break it, screw it.
Oh, I forgot I had the later limit breaks as well. I would have used that sooner. That's basically Clim Hazard, isn't it?
Yeah. Or climb hazard, climbing hazard.
As it was supposed to be. But like many games back then, you could only have so many letters. Go on, go for Cloud. Okay. Cloud's being brave considering what happened last time. Okay. This is probably going to go.
I would chuck in extra thunder actually. Thunder.
Sure?
Yeah, well, you're getting close to the end of the fight. Try and get into that next phase now. Yeah, harden the first.
Yeah, well, considering like I played the first one a couple of times with the obviously the demo and then the beginning of the game. You don't have to really worry about the links, do you?
You may as well hit them because you still do damage to the main guy.
I can't see shit. I can't see shit.
Oh shit, Barrett has no
MP.
Yep. How the hell's the auto repairing? It should be screwed at this point.
Don't know, but all I'm thinking is I would have been so much better off if I had just camera. Oh,
Abilities, triple slash.
The Infinity Zen?
No, it's too slow, not worth it. You do 3 hits from triple slash. And then Barrett Maximum Fury.
It's too late for that. But he can use it anyway. As if he's going to try and heal. As if, how dare... Okay, now I'm pissed. Just because he had the audacity to heal. Okay, well, that didn't work like I thought it would. Okay, Barrett. No, you know what, Cloud, you can have the victory. Barrett, you can pretend to get the victory. Yep, that was all me. Phew.
But you got to deal with that sort of stress throughout the rest of this game. It's why, like, when you next find a vendor, buy some more HP, MP and magic ups. Or HP and MP ups.
I am not looking forward to the Hell House.
Believe it or not, Hell House is actually easier the second time through. It's the one time I'll say, because, like...
I think it was just... They must have switched it around. They just made the Hell House, like, hard mode immediately.
No, in the second playthrough, it felt like, because you had more materia, you had strats available.
Now I'm just like, oh, boxes, need them regardless.
Yep. 11 MP. That's enough for one Thunderer.
Yeah. To be fair, do you get MP for fights, don't you?
Your MP does recharge over time, very, very slowly.
Was there anything else? That was one thing I did like when they did the timer, and it's very reminiscent of the original timer.
Yeah.
Like the style of it. One of the things I was...
It's wrong colour though, it's not purple.
One of the things that I found a little bit annoying is how, like, I would have liked it if the menu had the original, like, yeah, like,
yeah,
that would have been a nice touch, but maybe they couldn't get those sounds in decent quality. But I think if you can have a PlayStation menu that still uses that, like, for example, like with, like, I think it's...
You just showed your face.
It's cool.
Oh yeah, we're recording video, aren't we? Bollocks.
But I'm just saying, if you can have that for the wallpaper and like the PlayStation theme, why could you not include it in the game? Like,
yeah, true.
After everything they've just been through, all the destruction they've caused, how is there just a couple of guards just standing there? Did you say even benches don't heal MP?
Yep. Inns, benches, none of it heals you. You basically, from chapter to chapter, you have a finite pool of MP.
Oh god.
Micromanage. And you got them to use provoke.
Yeah. Oh, I was hoping that was just going to annihilate him.
Dude, the waste of time that causes, man. Triple slash is your best ability. Genuinely.
And I've just realised what I'm about to come up against up here.
Counter strike.
Yeah. Not against these.
This next 4 up.
I can't remember what they were called, but they were like the Shinra...
Shinra shock troopers?
Yeah. But yeah, I kind of wish that there was maybe a little bit of like combo gameplay where you could have like
team up attacks and that sort of thing.
Well, yeah, so it's similar to the stuff that they had in Final Fantasy 15, but I think maybe they got burnt so hard on 15 that it was like, we don't want to have it, like, because the people were already saying that the moment they saw like this, they're like, oh, it's just Final Fantasy 15 with a like 7 skin over the top. But come on, attack me. I'm gonna counter you. There we go.
How'd you use counter stance?
I could have done, yeah. To be fair, I was just thinking in the standard game mode though.
You don't have that yet.
Yeah, and the fact that plus.
You haven't got the fire elemental.
Wait,
no.
what was it doing in there? Like, there's not even a door.
Yeah, the shock troopers were made a lot easier by having like the fire elemental on as well. Because in the final fight of the game, I used it constantly against Sephiroth. But then again, the first time I fought Sephiroth, I may have made a massive mistake.
I remember you saying you wasn't anticipating the need
party battle. I thought it'd be like a cloud one-on-one for the final segment of the game.
Yeah.
So I basically put all my material on Cloud. Everyone else had nothing. And I went into the final battle and through attrition won with mega potions.
Oh, so you didn't exit out and redo the...
No, I did the whole thing.
That's stubbornness, man. He's just like, I screwed up, but I made my bed and I'm gonna lie in it. I'm not...
No, don't get me wrong, if I game overed, I would have like re-equipped everything.
Yeah.
But I was just like, no, I'm doing this now.
So the time that you could have taken to do it, like, say it took you an extra 15-20 minutes to finish the fight when you could have probably like...
Yeah, instead I was just diving around shadow flares like it was no tomorrow.
See, that just reminds me of sort of like a Qui-Gon Jinn, sort of like, okay, there's chaos and everything going on, but like, it's just meditating and such.
But especially with the red colour palette, it's like him in the Darth Maul fight where they're in the barriers, just like...
Yeah, he's just like, okay, focus.
Or having Sephiroth in earlier on sort of negates the impact.
Yeah.
But I think it's because they expected that everyone knows who Sephiroth is, so they're not going to buy. And is the main antagonist, President Shimmer's the main antagonist at that point?
I don't know, I feel like... I feel like they underestimated what they could have done with... I feel like the fact that they thought they needed to include Sephiroth almost shows that they didn't have enough faith in their original story.
Yeah.
They're like, oh no, we need to have Sephiroth because Sephiroth's the cool thing that got everyone to play. And it's like, well, people that originally played didn't know Sephiroth existed. Like, they played the game because it was good and had good characters and story, and then Sephiroth just happened to be icing on the cake.
Yeah.
But like they sowed the seeds of the possibility of it being a thing, because you had, like, for example, with that scene, and you have Shinra showing that, oh, he's a bit more nefarious than we previously thought. He actually blew up the reactor in this one, and blame was so it'd have a bigger impact on Avalanche, and like, oh, they're more terroristy than we thought, sort of thing, and
yeah,
everyone would have a negative reaction to them. So is this the beginning of chapter 2?
Yes. So, should we call it here for this?
Yeah, well, that was an enjoyable introduction to hard mode. Harder than I expected, but
yeah,
it was good to have you over the shoulder to help out when needs must.
Yeah, I should have maybe shouted less at you during the actual battle and let you get on with it. But
well, I feel
you would have felt like you would have died more.
I thought I was running through it so easily there. It was like, oh no, it's fine. I can do this.
Because you've gotten used to how much damage the bosses do in the first playthrough. That when you find the boss where it's like, he just did 3,000 health in a single hit.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh, okay, I need to focus less on talking and more on attacking and strategy. But yeah, I think that's where we're going to call it on this one. So this is the only part that I don't like. But yeah, if you enjoyed it, give it a like. If you want to see more, drop us a comment. Let us know what your favourite parts are, and we'll catch you next time.
You can find me in the nether space. I'll eventually have stuff to be contacted on.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Rob will be around on FullMetalHagrid at some point. Until then, laters.